So this is one of the most powerful picks in Season 14, the most powerful depending on who you speak to. However, most Rengar players who aren't Rengar mains are pretty bad. Also, worth noting, when you're against a Grave, slap adapt this ward into the river to protect yourself against any sort of cheese. And as we all know from many tweets on the leaked Twitterverse, there's a lot of, kind of Raptors into invades, Red into invades, just straight up invades. And you guessed it, in this one, the Graves is going to do an invade, except I don't know why people do this to a Rengar. However, we'll see how it plays out. Look, there's no reason for this whatsoever. You're not going to cheese the Rengar. You're not going to troll him. Look at this. It's like, yes, I'm going to sneak in and smite away his blue. And then what? And then what? It's just so cheesy. It's terrible jungling. Don't listen to all of the clickbait that makes you invade like this. Just jungle properly, because Teemo is going to show up due to the ward. The Rengar's now able to jump in and out of the brushes. We have the ignite. We have the poison ticking. We have all of the mobility we need, plus a vision, plus an auto attack Q. And it's a dead Graves. Alright, so first and foremost, when you're facing a Rengar like this, yeah, he invades you, you don't invade him. Unless, of course, the Rengar is dumb and is invading, like pre-season 14 Karthus with exhaust. Now, what do you do in these kinds of situations if you die? I've covered that on this channel. In this one, we're going to showcase what happens when the invader dies. Now, in theory, you might think, alright, the Graves is totally compromised. And you know what's really funny? I've had the same thing happen to me. I was obviously doing one of my picks, and the Graves did this. He dies, right? Stupid guy, I don't know why he died. So I'm like, he's probably going to think he can invade my red, right? So what I do is I just go straight down here, do my red, into my Crux to get level 3, and then I reverse sequence upside like this, assuming that if he does try to cheese me, 1, there'll be no camps and I'll be in control, and 2, if he doesn't, he's probably going to go topside down and I'll be on the opposite side, which is what you want versus Graves when you're a weaker matchup. Guy actually ended up trying to do exactly as I said, but sat in this bush, right, to go ward, and I walked right by him and I had no idea he was there, and he tried to sneak out and steal my red, which he did, but then he died again. So, these kinds of players, you never know what you're going to see when it comes to the Graves players. And obviously the Jace moves on down, probably warded the Raptors. Yes, he did. Look, he's gonna do it. So Rengar here absolutely must head over to Virkayu.gg. I have a free jungle improvement resource as well as a dedicated program where we have jungle video courses, jungle coaching VOD libraries, weekly free video content seen nowhere else, as well as Q&As and patch note rundowns, as well as a private jungle Discord. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's making junglers reach their goals, as we saw with the record number of people hitting them at the end of Season 13. If you want to climb faster than anyone you know, jungle diff every game you play, click the link below or head to Virkayu.gg. He is very compromised. Now, this ward isn't that great because you can't see him leave the Gromp. I think it'd be really good for the Graves to place that in the brush, just so he knows, okay, look, Rengar is moving down from the Gromp now. I've got the time to do 1, 2, 3. From the Rengar's perspective, why is he so damn strong in the season? Atomization. We've got the Hubris, we rushed that. We've got the Profane Hydra. We've got the other one, Opportunity. There it is. But this rank 1 Korean Rengar jungle god doesn't go that build. So we're going to look at a slightly different variation because I've been covering that main variation in all of my content, the Hubris into Profane Hydra into Opportunity. We've been covering all of that. But the build he goes here is going to allow him to drop 30 kills in Grandmaster Challenger in Korea. The guy is extremely good in all of the games he plays. He tries to win by 15 with a kill a minute. Like, it's really powerful stuff. Now, the Graves actually ended up not doing the cheese invade, which is very good. I don't know where the Pantheon is going. He had the right idea, but he's definitely not a jungle player, I can tell you that much. Now, when you are Rengar and you're against this kind of stuff, this is why we sit in the bush, wait for the invades, and you pull away and you kite, and you make sure you're not getting invaded like this. So really good, hey, I'm against the Graves, the guy might come in, I better drag the camp into a bush. Good fundamental jungling from the Rengar. Now, at this particular stage, we don't have an Ashe, so we don't really know what the Graves is doing. And as a Rengar player, here's the thing. I covered the rank 1 98 on the main channel just before the end of Season 13, and it's very much a case of people think Rengar is this bone 2 stacking, like saliva out of the mouth, hunting jungler, like just no thinking. No, that's Bel'Veth, right? Like, that's great. Like, these invades, that's those people. They're like uncultured swine in comparison. Rengar is a strategic precision hunter. The pathing and the mechanics required, it flows. Flawless, smooth, everything is just without a hitch. And that's what you get when you watch a one trick or a main really make this champion pounce with the right, I was going to say ferocity, but it's a bit on the nose, but hey, what the hell. So at this particular stage, the Graves is now supremely out of contention. And this is the thing, right? The Rengar's now like, okay, look, what do I know from my blue side, right? We're looking at this, staring at the minimap. We see the Pantheon move up here. We go to the Krugs over here. We see the Ziggs. We see the Pantheon. Okay. There's the Graves, right? I'm having a look at you in the camera. We're talking. We're having a conversation. In game, you should notice that, right? And what you notice from that is 16 CS, blue buff, and no red buff. That means the guy's done the bottom side scuttle. The guy's going to go back to base on that ward, and he's going to obviously go to his red side. So Rengar says, right, precision hunting activation. Let's go, right? Let's go. We know the guy's going to go for his red, so we'll have the serrated Dirk plus the longsword finally capitalizing on that first kill. We'll jump over to the red buff. We'll lose it. Doesn't really matter. We've got the Ebola slows in the brush. The guy's got no flash, so it's just a free kill. It's a chain kill. The one thing I like watching good Rengars is their Ebola virus spread is pretty damn good. Didn't need to use Empowered in that particular case. The slows are more than enough because the guy is walking to a brush. The guy has no flash, so we don't really need to worry about that. We can full veracity with the Q, right? However, if you're against someone with a lot of mobility, use your Empowered Ebola just to keep them in place. You usually have enough damage with the spike, all right? And obviously from this, we jump to the Mites, and the Pantheon walks over the ward that we placed to C. Don't die for these, please. We are level 5, the Graves level 3. Jump onto the Pantheon, obviously use your Ebola. We got the Quinn rotating over, so that'll be a nice sight into a jump into a kill. We are watching the Jace here, but on the top side, you got a Shyvana level 6, Teemo's level 5. We don't have that advantage, but there's a brush right here that we can now jump to. Let's focus on killing the Graves as he dashes in. We'll kill him. Good job, Maokai. We have full stacked Ferocity for the W, or Root, as you need to get out of situation. This is most likely still going to be a dead Maokai because that Shyvana's, level 6, 3 levels up, and tick, no, we live. Huge, but we got 2 grubs to 1, so we'll take it. Remember, all you really want to deny is 5 or 6. Against certain comps, you just don't want, like a Ziggs, a Jace, a Shyvana, a Graves, I don't want to give them 5 grubs, right? The Mites plus a Herald, that could be pretty bad, especially in Korea when you want to snowball. So we'll take our 2 to 1. We'll fall back to our camp scene. Now the focus is on 6, and I can see that, like, you guys struggle with this, I struggle with this, everyone does. You really want that level 6, but here the Rengar's not going to get level 6. So why hasn't he moved yet? Because he wants the empowered route as necessary. 99%. This is what you're looking to go for, most likely, right? Like, if you don't need to use it, don't use it, but then we use a Q for the movement speed. Activate your empowered Q, gives you movement speed. That allows him to get to the bush quicker. This allows him to jump into the Pantheon. And then, of course, we can just hit our EW in midair, and that's a dead guy. So, well, if we have it, obviously, but, ideally. Think about your abilities that way. So, I'm getting my empowered Ferocity as they're doing a Terror Dive. If they walk this way, got a free route, they're dead. If they move this way and I need to gap close, use my Q, get movement speed. I'll still get their proc when I land because I've got a timer on it. That's how we like to play Fluid Rengar, right? There's no thinking involved. It's very much, I know what I'm doing in any given moment. I love that. I love it. I mean, I got like 1,000 games of Rengar. Oh, hello. Why? This Graves is very, very confusing to me. I mean, Grandmaster level Korean as well. Season 13, I don't know what we're looking at. But the Rengar is on the back foot for those early invade, right? The Graves shows up. It's like, why are you here? We win it. Mechanical prowess. Then we use calculations and beautiful projections to go and invade and kill him. Then there's a fight. We just out-mechanic everyone and we live. 4-0-1. Huge early game. That's how Rengars are good, is that they take whatever jungle philosophy, fundamental principle they need to win in a certain situation, then they can do it with the champion. He enables all. At least those are good. So the Graves now is really compromised. Rengar at this point, we don't know entirely what the Graves is doing after that fight. We have 6. We've empowered the Q just in case someone face checks. They don't. Well, pressed our R, and then he's gonna die. So, I mean, once he walks by there and you see that, you can just press R. So, obviously we lose our full ferocity stack, but once we see him and we've activated it, there you go. Hello, sir. I'm in the brush. Didn't expect you there. That's a dead guy. I mean, just use the passive as much as possible. The bottom lane also kills the Ziggs. I like that, though. Calculated hunting always works, but it's more about the Dirk Longsword spike. However, there are differences of opinion in what we do with the first base. He is actually going for the Voltaic Cyclosword, which we don't really see. It's like that fleet footwork kind of thing. You get that bonus damage and that Duskblade slow when you have it fully stacked. But the most important thing about it is, as you see them, just keeping it on screen, hopefully you can see the main thing, the Galvanize. There you go. Dashes and stealth stack at 75% faster. So when you actually are fully stacked and you're ulting in, you're gonna get that 99% slow for 0.75 seconds. plus extra damage. 100 bonus physical damage. So he likes to use that playstyle along with his Profane, as well as the Edge of Night, the Lord Dominic's, the Cyrilda's Grudge. We also go a little bit with the Ghost Blade sometimes, Axiomarch sometimes. He does like to mix it up a lot more. Whereas I think the de facto idea is, guys, go Hubris, snowball nicely and well, may you live healthy, and get yourself a Profane Hydra into the opportunity, into the Cyrilda's Grudge, and usually games will end. If you need the Edge of Night, get it, but that's a great default way to play, but obviously there are other alternatives, right? There's a lot of lethality itemization that you can use. Now, ult is up again. Remember, you can play with your Treasure Hunter, you can play with your Relentless, you can play with Ultimate Hunter. I like Ultimate Hunter as well, and it just gives you so much uptime. We'll jump with the Root onto the Pantheon because we know he's going to use the E, and poof, the guy just went poof. And now we can just face tank the Ziggs and kill him. So much damage from these items, and that's why strong. Oh, look, Graves, hello. Hello, sir. I now have my W, my cleanse, which I can use. I'll jump onto you there. He's forced to flash the wall. Nice root from the Maokai. Queen goes over the wall. We'll jump into that one, take that kill as well. We are now 7-0-2. And has he really just walked at people? You're like, it's not like Hecarim's, you look around, they got 3, 4, 5 kills, and it's just because your lane is overstayed. This isn't laners overstaying. This is him saying, Graves, you tried coming to my jungle, you tried to kill me on the day of my cat's birthday, and he takes that to the map, whereas the Graves just it's been anemic, hasn't it? So always take your leads to the map, always take your leads to your lanes, and always, if your lanes are solid, deny the enemy jungler. But this game is still not over. These games are not over because the big mid-game phase is 15-20. And now they have 3 grubs to 2. We'll get another one, so it'll be 4 grubs to 2. In the meantime, Jace moved on over. So we jump, we're mid-air right now, and you're gonna land. Usually you'd have your savagery ready to go, but basically as we land here, we hit our E. We obviously have our auto attack there with the cancel onto the Q and our W activation, and there is the Q, and we have one more empowered savagery, double Q. So really, at this stage with 1 item plus a brutalizer, you are brutalizing. Now, the guy has made a critical error, has this Graves. His whole red side is up. He's gone for the objective without looking for kill conversion ratio, which means now you can be invaded. Again, using that empowered cube for movement speed gap close, jumping in. Oh, beautifully bellowed. Chef's kiss. In and out, in and out, in and out. Remember, you can also speed up your bush jumps by using Q from the jump, right? Like, use the Q as that auto attack jump, and it's a more fluid motion, and you can get out of the brush quicker, actually, than just like right-clicking like a caveman. So use your Qs to jump out of bushes. Now, what I mean by kill conversion ratio in this season is please go ahead and kill a lane, gank a lane, kill a jungler, and then do grubs. Greeting for grubs here is great, but now you got a whole red side up. And if the enemy jungler's tracking you, and they know you have a whole red side up, and they have a big lead, in this season, the Xin Chaos, the Rengars, even if Graves in another game will kill you, that's a dead Jace. Now, you're wondering, but the Rengar is so strong, it's so OP. Like, come on, really? Like, a Xin Chao ain't doing the same thing with 10 kills. Like, a Graves isn't doing the same thing with 10 kills. I'm doing that with Zyra with 10 kills at this particular stage. Everyone is strong with 10 kills. How do I get the 10 kills, though? That's the question. Now, oh, that was generous. Benevolent jungler says, look, I have 10 kills. I know we're winning, but at the same time, I'm looking, and their bottom lane could be a little scary later on. And, you know, the Shyvana, it's a team up. Let me give you a kill. So always be kind as much as you want to steal everything. Sometimes a blatant KS doesn't help the morale of your team, especially if you're popping off. Let your team want to play the game as well. Just good captain, coach kind of methodology. Now, we obviously have the Ocean Dragon. Ult is up again in 20 seconds. So essentially what you're looking at here from a jungling point of view is play around your ultimate as well. Obviously, we're Rengar, we can just walk at stuff if there's a brush available, but ideally, look to stack up your 4 stacks of ferocity, get your ult up, and then we can have a triple Q combo. Look, it looks like there's going to be one right now, but I don't think they're going to survive a triple Q combo with the flash Q. Oh, what a triple kill. So quick, so easy. Profane Hydra is beautiful for that, because you just jump in on the target like this with the intent of doing a triple Q. You press that active on Profane Hydra, the extra damage is below 50% threshold. Can you see that there? Right? This damage increases to 394 physical damage to enemies below 50% HP. So that active does a lot more in those situations. I mean, it's not a minuscule amount. Like, we were looking at Brand yesterday, and we're looking at the damage increase on the W, and it was like 104, I think, at one point. This is already 130, so it's already more than a brand's empowered ability bonus damage. And mage items suck, so, you know, well, mage like AP assassin items have been good, they just know storm surge, but the build paths for mage items are not that great, but for assassins, still beautiful. Now, we have gone for the Ghost Blade here because when you're snowballing this hard, I don't feel like you need Voltaic Cycler Sword and Opportunity. I'm sort of the opinion that you kind of pick one of those. I haven't really delved into the full-scale math of the situation. It used to exist. But the whole idea is that you have synergy with your items, right? So like, okay, I'm going to go Hubris for the Snowball, Profane Hydra for Enhanced Mid-Game Power Spike plus Insane Active Damage. I think that's a non-starter. You have to build that. But, you know, maybe I want to amp my damage up a different way. Instead of Hubris, I would like the Voltaic Cycler Sword for that energized slow, right? Especially against a mobile team, it's pretty huge. See, we hit the root there, we hit the next root there, we got the stuff from the Ebola, and we jump out. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. That's what we like from Rengars, and it's when they actually understand it's not always about triple Q combos and sexiness. I mean, it is. It's always about that. But it's also about, look, I'm not going to be able to kill this person if they get to go away. And so what I need to do is ensure that they're stuck in place. So you hit your Ebola, you hit your second Ebola for the slow follow-up once they get derooted. It allows you time to get into the brush, jump on out of the brush, and do it all over again. Then you can use your Qs. Obviously, Qs on turrets, hilarious. Even with 2 grubs, that's all you really need. You don't need any grubs, to be honest. So as a Rengar, if the game is shit, don't lose it for grubs. 15 kills. Halfway there. Yeah. So at this stage, you look at the Quinn 214, Timo 022, it's really on us, right? Like, there's no one else really in this game that's super fed. I mean, Siobhan is ahead in gold. Jace is ahead by 900 gold over the Quinn due to plates. Ziggs is up 600 gold. You can see that there over the Lucian. It's really small, but you can see it. And the Pantheon is up over... Everyone in the enemy team is ahead of the counterpart in Rengar's team. Only Rengar is ahead. He has 11,200 gold by 60 minutes, and the Graves is 4,600. So the entire gold lead is Rengar. Think about that. You look at this game, you're like, but he got fed. How many times have you guys had 25 to 30 kills and lost? On the coaching channel last year, I made one. This Diana got 30 kills in silver and lost. You've done that too, I'm sure. Or at least gotten close to it. Or at least had some game where you popped off. I'm sorry if you haven't had 20 kills, but you will one day. Don't worry, I believe in you. So now, Timo's rotating around, putting some wards very slowly. We'll just camp some camps here. Catch this wave. You got to be a little bit selfish here. Now, I like using the Rengar R if I don't have a triple Q combo to really scout, right? As we do here. Scout because I know I can kill anybody. They're out of position. Pantheon, kill him first. No stun. Can't do anything about it. Jump to the ward. We have another route here. We got max range route. Beautiful route there as well. Well, of course, if you don't use your route, you might not get to the mark. It follows up with an ultimate, and we do actually get exploded. So it's a big shutdown overall. So here, I like the killing of the Pantheon. Now we jump to this, all right? We still have vision of the Jace, and now we use our Q for movement speed again to get into this. One could argue we didn't really need to, but I think it's kind of fringe, so obviously this is a good decision to go for. We get knocked back, so now we're out of position. We have no W at this particular stage. We do have our E, so we can use our E to go on the Graves. Look at the damage we have there. 3 seconds on that W. We jump back into the minefield, and we get that damage, but we just don't have enough. So we needed to be a little bit more patient, wait for that W cooldown, and we most likely live. Because the Graves was rooted, look, he's still rooted, he's still rooted, he's still rooted. There was no need to jump in that soon onto the landmine. So, misclick, a little overambitious, happens. Happens. But that's why you can lose these games, and how you can lose these games. Giovanna rotates down. A lot of damage. Champion isn't really a champion. So, I mean, I'm not too afraid of her overall, but, you know. TB is now committed because Rengar's dead for another 19 seconds. Remember, well, this is not good if I'm Rengar. They making plays. But we can probably just kill everybody afterwards. Remember, your respawn timer corresponds with your level. So if you're higher level and you throw as well, you're dead for longer than everybody else. Like, everyone else is back on the map. Had a funny flex queue game the other day with a friend, and he was level 18. Everyone else was level 16. And everyone's just on the map going. He's like, but no respawn time is because he had to sit in the base. Everyone died at the same time, but they're all onto the field. And he hadn't respawned yet, so... bear that in mind, right? I mean, you're fed and you have a level advantage. You're off the field for longer. It gives them a lot of comeback moments. Obviously, I think I would just give up the dragon here. I understand what we're doing, but I would just give up the dragon. I'm not really interested in necessarily going too deep unless, of course, we want to kill everybody. So, I mean, you can do that. Maybe I haven't played enough recently, but I would much prefer in this particular situation. They died. We got stunned. See, as I said, Ziggs could be a bit of a problem. Graves' ultimate, sorry, not Graves' ultimate. Graves is dead. The Jace Q, my bad. Sorry, guy with a projectile weapon. I kind of like, in those situations, just going topside, pushing this out, and pushing into this, and then rotating here and killing anyone defending, and then push this. That's the macro play, but I'm a lot more macro-orientated than necessarily you would be in Korea. They just prefer to kind of brute force sometimes, rather than nuance the situation. But they're mechanical gods, in comparison to most of us, so they can make those plays. I just think a little differently. Like, if I'm a Bel'Veth that's struggling in a game, or even if I'm a Rengar having a bad game, I would do this, right? Because you've got all of them in Dragon, I can still kill someone with my ultimate, I can get into their red side jungle and take all their stuff. Like, it's a good play as well. Less coin flip, really. Lower risk. Safer. But that has downsides. Especially when we need to carry the game when everyone's down in gold deficit. It's still true. Shyvana's ahead, mid is still ahead, ADC, Ziggs is still ahead, and Pantheon's still ahead. Like, everyone on the enemy team is still ahead of our people. That's why you look at the kills, and I had someone do this in the coaching class the other day on Virkayu GG server. He was like, I felt like this game was over, because they had 26 kills. They had 26 kills, and we had 8. I'm like, but look at the gold lead. He's like, yeah? Like, you're only down 2k gold. Like, you look at the kills in game, and you think, like, it's over. But think about it. What do they have that you do not have in this particular situation? 20 seconds on ultimate. They have plates. They have shutdowns. Maybe they've had a bounty at some particular stage. Maybe they've got way more CS, like way more CS. All of these things add up, The minefield. Oh, thank you, Maokai. Bless you. Just do a bit of a EW there to get the kill. Good job, Maokai. Oh, hello, Jace. And now our ultimate's available. You are dead. Sorry that you are dead. Very dead. It's the Family Guy song that's not dead, but something else that I don't want to be demonetized for, so I won't say it. When it was funny like 15 years ago. Yeah. Okay. 7k gold lead. It is seemingly insurmountable until you realize that the Rengar is like 8,000 of that gold. Like, you literally have a huge lead. So, from the red team's perspective, what can you do against the Rengar with 22 kills? Because at the same time, we don't even have one single interior turret here. This is a lot of local gold as well. So, from our team perspective as Rengar, can we get our teams one of these turrets somehow? Baron's also available. Let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. From red team's perspective, I would love to make a pick on someone who's way out of position. Like, if I could make a pick on the teamer, I would do it. If I could make a pick right here while Rengar was down here, I would do it. It seems like they're really not using Pantheon's stump bot kill threat nearly as well as they could. They're way too worried about that Rengar, and it's costing them the comeback moment. And now Rengar could just ult. We have Axiom Arc at this particular stage, plus a BF. Oh my god. But see, like, how much more difficult was that? He had to flash out, right? He got one, yeah, but he only got one. He had to flash out. He's level 16 to level 9 of the Pantheon. It's not an issue, but if we get stunned, we're doomed. We have a 1-3-1 going at the moment. Their whole team has a lead, so obviously, like, look at this. Woo! You have to respect it. And Ziggs. Lucian cleans up beautifully. Good job. And I ult up again. And you take a bow. So, great assassin gameplay. Jumps in. It's Rengar, so you have a way out, in theory, if you use your power W properly, but you flash as well. And then, wait for cooldowns, keep your spacing, watch your team, play off the situation, and go back in. That's the play that wins them the game. If you split too much in this particular situation, you don't want to do that, because the enemy team wants you to do that. So it's kind of a weird scenario. Okay, look, my team's behind. Do we even want a team fight? Well, yes, because if you go splitting, and you're never with your team, the enemy team who are already winning will always win those fights. Like, you're not winning. You can look at this in game and be like, 0-3-3 team probably ain't so useful and in a team fight without me. So you've got to be present. So I like the fact that we go in, we get a numbers advantage, doesn't matter who, kill someone, hopefully priority target, get out, reposition, don't die, let your teammates who are behind make those split pushes on these interior turrets to get more gold, and then get the Baron. And that's a game-winning, a team-based game-winning play while being super, super fed. It's beautiful. This is how you 1v9, guys. Okay. Obviously, the Shyvana is strong. We cleanse. jump to the... Like, you can see already now, it's getting harder, but obviously that's a bit of the build. We don't have any armor penetration. We went to the Bloodthirster, that's fine. That's a dead Zig stepping way out of position, and now they're all dead. Like, why would you walk near the damn brush? You literally won the situation. Back the hell off. Right? Back off, give them the dragon, and then wave clear a little bit. Just don't throw a good position. Why would you throw a good position like that? Ah, such a waste. Such a waste. You know, they had a solid position there, and all they had to do is back up and say, cool. You guys are bear, please come take an inhib so we can wave clear it a little bit and sit together. But most people don't play against Rengar properly. That's a fact of the situation. I wrote a guide in Season 4 when I was learning the game. It wasn't even that good, but I was learning the game when I was playing Rengar pretty much only. Rengar and Zyra. And people were still complaining about Rengar back then. And it was like 90% of the time, guys, who's on your team? Mumu. And who else? Malphite. And? Oh, Annie. Okay. And Lulu. Okay. And ADC Ashe. Okay. How's Rengar killing any of you if you just bunch up? And this is like, we're talking like lower elo, right? Like gold, like silver, like bronze. Like, even to myself back then, I wasn't very good objectively at all, especially compared to now. And how a low elo player is complaining about Rengar when the Rengar isn't that good, and two, you've got all the tools to just eviscerate the guy as soon as he jumps in. Now, the secondary problem for that was Pharaoh Flare tank meta, so, you know, I just go Pharaoh Flare on hit ability jungle item plus Blade of the Ruin King plus tank, and then no longer could I die. And I could still do similar damage, but that's a separate issue, isn't it? That's an itemization issue. But the complaints were still unfounded, because then he couldn't one-shot you in isolation, so. As you see, we apparently are dead. Right. Well, that was unexpected. But this is where I don't have full support on the build. Like, yes, you're Exodia, no boots, not necessary. But this is where I still feel like having the Cyrilda's Grudge earlier just prevents these kind of situations. Like, Ghostblade is great, but I don't really feel like Ghostblade is unnecessary. With the Cyclo Sword, you got the utility on the slow. It's good. Like, there's no wrong build. It works. It's just not something. It's not my cup of tea, right? For how it's structured. I do think the more baseline structure is better, especially the Edge of Night against Pantheons and things like that. Once you jump in, they can't stun you. And mostly, people don't wait for that spell shield to be broken. Amazing, they end the game without the Rengar. But 32-4, rank 1 career, Giga Rengar, total guide. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned something. Virkayu GG for you, jungle needs, and as always, I'll see you all in the next one.